Hello, ILRs. Dean Colvin here. Good to be having a chance to talk to you. I'm talking from my home office here back in Ithaca. It's a beautiful spring day, fresh blue skies, but obviously this is a difficult time for our nation and for our community and for Cornell. You're dispersed off to your homes all around the country. Few of you are still here on campus, those who need to stay in the dorms, but our community has been scattered by the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we're going to try and keep in touch as best we can. We're going to be reaching out regularly to you. And in a couple weeks' time, we're going to start a great experiment for us, which is to be teaching online. This is something new. We've never had done this before, but we're going to be flexible. We're preparing for it. And I'm confident that in a couple weeks' time, you're going to start to experience what is going to be the best educational experience we can provide for you and what's going to be pretty difficult times for the nation. Your professors are getting ready. They're working on learning how to deliver in a way that's not typical for how we teach. We're used to being in the classroom with you, to have a chance to interact that way. Now we're going to be using Zoom a lot. We're getting more and more familiar with Canvas and Zoom. One thing that's going to help us is that ILR has really great IT support and distance learning staff. They're working really hard to make sure that our systems are ready to go. The faculty are trained and are ready to give as good an experience as we can possibly give to you. Now, we're all going to have to be flexible. Classes aren't going to be exactly the same as they were going to be in person, but with some goodwill and flexibility on all sides, I think we can come up with something that works as well as we can in the situation. We have to be a little patient. If some classes have more difficulty initially getting things running, but a little patience, little flexibility. I'm confident that pretty soon we're going to be making some connections, continuing your education, which is important. I think it's important that in difficult times, we try to provide what we can in terms of the educational experience. You'll have received some information about changes to the calendar and also the grading options. You'll have the option of switching your classes at your choice to pass-fail. You'll have some time to check out the online teaching before you make that decision. So think about it, but there's certainly the opportunity there to switch to that pass-fail option, which I think will help many of you reduce some of the stress that I'm sure you're all feeling in this situation. We're feeling it, I know you're feeling it, and so we're going to try and make things as smooth as possible on our end. The reality is that this is something that none of us expected. It's changed your experience of college. It's changed our work that we do. We're all working remotely here following Governor Cuomo's recent order. So it's an adaptation that we're all doing, but it's for an important purpose. It's to support our healthcare system, all the amazing healthcare workers on the front lines dealing with this pandemic, trying to bend the curve to reduce the pressure on them. So that's why we need to take all of these measures. Now, those who aren't on the front lines, the way the healthcare workers are, we're spending a lot of time at home. This is a crisis that some people have commented is one we're being called to sit on our couch. And there's some truth to that. Staying at home and being isolated, not spreading the virus is important that we do that so that the workers who are responding to the pandemic have the best chance they can to deal with the challenges that they're under. They're under enormous pressures. And so it's important that we do what's a much easier task of staying home and not making it more difficult for them. While we're doing that, we do want to try and continue our engagement, our learning that's going on. And it may seem at times like the things we're discussing in class may seem kind of distant when we're dealing with a pandemic like this. But I think you're going to see that there are things that you're learning that are important in difficult times like this. I've been thinking in recent days a lot of a study a couple of our faculty, Adam Seth-Litwin and Ariel Afgar, did a couple of years ago. They did a study looking at the role of outsourced cleaners in controlling for superbugs in hospitals. So what their study essentially did was did a comparison of hospitals looking at the working conditions of the cleaning staff. Cleaning staff are probably the lowest paid people in a typical hospital. They don't get the attention or the social prestige of the doctors who are doing their very important work. But what Professors Afgar and Litwin found is that the employment situation of those cleaners actually mattered a lot. Where that work had been outsourced, there was a higher rate of infections in those hospitals. Essentially, the mechanism that they're identifying there is that where those workers are in better working conditions, they're doing their jobs better, they're able to execute the cleaning that's so important, and we're really seeing that now, to making sure that the hospital's a safer place for the patients. So it's a really good example of the working conditions, work and employment conditions, and the labor conditions of workers making a difference to what the work outcomes are. And that's a really important lesson to know. You're going to see other areas where the things you're learning at ILR are going to be important for some of the secondary consequences of this pandemic. The health issues obviously are first and foremost at this point in time, but we know there's going to be major economic impacts from this, right? We see that obviously in the news and the stock market declines, but the thing we're going to see really soon, unfortunately, is enormous impacts in terms of unemployment, people losing their jobs. This is going to be something having devastating impact for the country, really for the world, that we're going to head into economically difficult times. This is something that we study. This is something that we want to pay attention to. We're going to be thinking about that in our research and our teaching. Hopefully we'll discuss it in our classes, because a lot of people are going to be affected by this economically, as well as the enormous health impacts of the pandemic. So pay attention to what's going on, keep learning, keep thinking about what's happening, and stay connected. When we start the online teaching, this is going to be a chance to reconnect with your classmates, with your faculty teaching you. You know, this is a difficult situation where we're all physically isolated. We are doing what's being called social distancing, which is incredibly important. But even though we're physically distant, I hope that we don't become socially distant in the sense of not being a community, not supporting each other. That's really important to us. You're ILRs, you remain ILRs, we're loyal Cornellians, and we're gonna stay that through this difficult crisis. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, stay well, and we're gonna keep in touch. And I'll be being in touch again in the days to come. Bye for now.